and welcome to First Chapter Reads. I'm Mrs. O, and we are reading a chapter, or maybe a little bit more, of a book to get you excited about the book, and maybe you can check it out on Hoopla, or you can come in and get a copy of your own. And today's book is from a new series, a kind of new series in the last year called Greystone Secrets, and this is the first book in that, and it's called The Strangers. In this book, the author is Margaret Peterson Haddix, who's an Ohio author, and you can follow along and you can watch up on Hoopla. Anybody that has a library card can use our Hoopla service to download books, audiobooks, or movies. So, Chapter 1, and Chapter 1 is called Finn. The three Greystone kids always raced each other home when they got off the school bus, and Finn always won. It wasn't because he was the fastest. Even he knew that his older brother and sister, Chess and Emma, let him win so he could make a grand entrance. Today, he burst into the house calling out, "Mom, we're home! It's time to come and adore us!" Adore had been on his second grade spelling list 2 weeks ago, and it had been a great discovery for him. So that was what it was called, the way he had felt his entire life. Emma, who was in 4th grade, dropped her backpack on the rug beside him and kicked off her red sneakers. They flipped up and landed on top of the backpack. Someday, Finn vowed he would get Emma to teach him that trick. 23, Emma said. There was no telling what she might have been counting. Finn hoped it was a prediction of how many chocolate chips would be in every cookie Mom was probably baking for them right now for their after-school snack. Finn sniffed. The house did not smell like cookies. Oh well, Mom worked from home designing websites, and sometimes she lost track of time. If today was more of a goldfish, crackers, and apple slices kind of day, that was okay with Finn. He liked those too. "Mom," he called again. "Your afternoon break entertainment has arrived." "She's in the kitchen," Chess said, hanging his own backpack on the hook where it belonged. "Can't you hear?" That would mean Finn had to listen for once instead of talking, Emma said, rubbing Finn's head fondly and making his messy brown hair even messier. Finn knew she didn't mean it as an insult. He was pretty sure Emma liked talking as much as he did. Chess was the one everyone called the quiet Greystone. He was in 6th grade and had grown 4 inches in the past year. Now Finn had to tilt his head way back just to see his brother's face. He also cupped his hand over his ear and pretended to be listening really, really hard. There was a low mumble coming from the kitchen. Maybe a man's voice? "Is Mom watching TV?" Chess asked. "She never does that during the day." The kids all knew their mother's routine. She never listened to anything but classical music while she worked, because she said songs with words were too distracting. And when she really didn't want to be disturbed, she worked in a windowless room in the basement. The computer down there didn't even connect to the internet. The three Greystone kids called that the boring room. Now Finn laughed at his older brother. "Are you going to stand around asking stupid questions when you could get your answer just by walking into the kitchen?" Finn asked. "Let's go eat." He dashed toward the kitchen, dodging both Emma's backpack and the family's cat, Rocket, lying in the middle of the floor. He yelled, "Mom, can I cut up apples? It's my turn, isn't it?" Mom was standing at the kitchen counter with her back to Finn, but she didn't turn around. She had both hands clenched onto the edge of the counter, as if she needed to hold on. Her cell phone lay face down on the floor by her feet. Her laptop sat on the counter in front of her, but it was tilted up so Finn couldn't see what was on the screen. "Mom," Finn tried again. She still didn't turn around. It was like she didn't even hear him, like she was in a soundproof bubble. This was not like Mom. She had never acted like this before. Then she began to moan, "No, no, 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 no." And that's the end of Chapter 1. I think we're going to go just a little bit further. Read Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is titled Emma. This is from Emma's perspective. Emma had had a substitute teacher that day. The sub had dressed all in gray and had gray hair and a gray face and even a gray voice. Somehow, Emma decided that was possible. And the sub made the entire day so dreary and dull that Emma had started looking for and counting weird things about the day just to keep herself awake. The thing was, if you started looking for weirdness, suddenly everything seemed that way. Wasn't it weird that the pattern of coats hanging up on the classroom hooks went blue, green, red twice in a row? Wasn't it weird that the sub could have a gray voice? Or was that just normal for her? By the time Emma got off the school bus and began racing toward the house, she'd counted 21 things she considered indisputably weird. To her way of thinking, that actually made the day pretty interesting, and she was excited to tell Mom about the new trick she'd discovered for surviving school. Then she noticed that the porch light was still on, even though Mom usually turned it off when Emma and her brothers left for school. And then, stepping into the house, Emma noticed that the living room curtains were still drawn tight across the windows, and so were the blinds on the bay window at the back of the house. This turned the living room's cheery yellow walls dim and shadowy. It made the whole house feel like a cave or a hideout. 23 weird things in one day. What if that was a normal amount and Emma had just never noticed before? She'd have to count again some other day, or really lots of other days to know for sure. Ben and Chess started yammering on about Mom and the kitchen and TV. Emma joined in and then rubbed Finn's head because it felt good to do something normal again. Mussing Finn's hair was like petting a dog. You had to do it. Finn had thick, unruly hair with odd cowlicks that sprang up no matter how much Mom smoothed them down. Finn, being Finn, he claimed this meant his hair had superpowers. And now Finn was racing off to the kitchen shouting about apples. Emma looked up at Chess, and they both shrugged and grinned and followed Finn. But when they got to the kitchen, Mom wasn't hugging Finn and reaching out to hug Emma and Chess too. Finn stood in the middle of the kitchen, staring at Mom. Mom stood at the counter with her back to the kids, all her attention focused on her laptop. And the voice coming out of the laptop was saying, "The kidnapped children are in 2nd and 4th and 6th grade." And that's the end of chapter 2. We have to do one more because this is the perspective of the third child, Chess. "Mom?" Chess said quietly. His mother's shoulders shook, and then, as if she was fighting for control, her whole body went still. Just like before, Chess thought. Of the 3 Greystone kids, only Chess remembered the awful day their father died. Chess had been 4, Emma 2, and Finn only a baby. But even Chess's memories of that day were more like puzzle pieces he kept in a box in his mind, rather than one continuous video. Chess remembered the 2 sad-faced police officers at the door. He remembered the red matchbox car he'd been holding in his hand when the door opened. He remembered the way Mom's shoulders shook before her back went ramrod straight, and she turned around to face Chess and Emma and Finn. Now Mom was reaching for the top part of her laptop, as if she planned to shut it and hide whatever it said. Something made Chess stride quickly across the kitchen and grab her hand to stop her. "Someone was kidnapped," he said. He caught a glimpse of a few words at the bottom of the computer screen. 3 kids in Arizona? Was it anyone you know? "No," Mom whispered. Her dark eyes were wide and dazed. The color had drained from her face. Shock, Chess thought. The school nurse had come in and taught a first aid unit to the 6th graders earlier that year, and Chess was proud of himself for remembering the symptoms. It was just a shame he couldn't remember any treatment. Maybe he was feeling a little shocked himself. It was scary that anyone would kidnap anyone. But Arizona was 1,000 miles away, and it wasn't like there would be some crime ring going around kidnapping kids from any family who had a 2nd grader, a 4th grader, and a 6th grader. "Mom, maybe you should sit down," Emma said. Maybe that was one of the treatments for shock. Chess shot his sister a grateful look and took his mother's arm, ready to help ease her toward the kitchen table. "Rocky, Emma, and Finn Gastano were last seen leaving their school, Los Perlos Elementary in Mesa," the voice coming out of the laptop speakers said. Finn started cracking up. "Isn't that funny?" he cried. 2 of those kids have the same first names as me and Emma. That's the 3rd Finn I've ever known. Well, not that I actually know this one, but he slugged Chess in the arm. Don't you feel bad that you don't have the same name as some kid who's famous now? And I bet when they find these kids, they'll get all the ice cream they want and all the toys they want, and the parents probably won't make them do homework ever again. But what if nobody ever finds these kids, Chess thought. He wasn't about to say that to Finn. Yeah, I've never met another kid named Rochester. Chess forced himself to fake a smile at Finn. Or with the nickname Chess. Oh well. Maybe you should sue Mom for giving you such a different name, Finn suggested. Or maybe I should sue for getting such a boring, ordinary name, Emma countered. Did you know there are 3 other Emmas in 4th grade and 8 others in the rest of the school? But Chess tuned out his brother and sister because Mom lifted one hand and pointed towards the laptop screen. The way she held her hand was like a nightmare, like a Halloween ghost, like someone under a witch's spell in a fairy tale. It was like she could only point, not speak. We're repeating the information we have about the Gastano children, the voice coming from the laptop said. A photo of a friendly-looking, dark-haired boy appeared on the screen. The oldest of the 3 kidnapped siblings, Rochester Charles Gastano, who goes by Rocky, just turned 12 last Tuesday. Chess's hearing blanked out temporarily. His middle name was Charles, too, and his 12th birthday had been last Tuesday. How could there be another Rochester Charles born the exact same day as him? And how could that other kid have been kidnapped? So what do you think? Do you think those kidnapped kids are the 3 kids that we just heard from in this book? Check out The Strangers in the Greystone Secret series to find out. We hope that first chapter piqued your interest, and here are some more books that I'd like to get you interested in or excited about. If you like Fly Guy, which I know a lot of you do because you come in and ask where they are at, there are also, maybe you didn't know, these Fly Guy Presents books, and Fly Guy presents different nonfiction subjects. Like this one is weird animals, and if you can see the picture, that's a pretty funny weird animal there. There's also Fly Guy, some of the ones we have represent space, weather, insects, and stuff like that. And it's just a really neat way, the way Ted Arnold is so humorous and the way he draws pictures and stuff with some real photographs of the subject that they're talking about. So it's just really cool. This has got a naked mole rat and just all kinds of weird animals. So it's really interesting and fun way to present that to younger kids. Also, we have an early chapter section now with books that are for kids that are just starting to read early chapter books. And one of those, we have the series Rabbit and Bear. We have a couple of those. This one's called A Bite in the Night, and they're trying to figure out why the trees seem to be disappearing. And so they actually learn stuff. It's got great pictures, it's funny. Rabbit and Bear are good friends, and they go on adventures together. So that's in our early chapter section. Another book that could be in our early chapter section, it would also be good for kids just starting out, is Unicorn Diaries. And a lot of kids come in asking about Owl Diaries, and they really love them. Well, now we have a whole series of Unicorn Diaries. And this is a unicorn school where each unicorn has a special magical power. And great pictures, and not too many words. So that's a great series to check out also. Another series that's very popular right now is The Bad Guys. And this is very funny. I had to read it to check out why everybody was wanting to check them out. Great pictures, very funny. And it's a group of bad guys that are usually considered bad guys, like a piranha and some other animals that are always considered bad, that decide they're sick of being the bad guys, and so they try to do good together. And it's pretty funny. So we have several of those. And check that out in our series section. And this series, Phoebe and Her Unicorn, in the graphic novel section, is also very popular. It's not new book, but it's new to our library, and we have, this is number 11, so we have at least 11. And what I started reading the first one, and Phoebe found a unicorn, and the unicorn grants her a wish, and after some funny tries at wishes that didn't work, because clearly the unicorn couldn't grant all wishes, she wishes that the unicorn would be her best friend. And she's the kind of girl that doesn't have a lot of friends, doesn't fit in. So she does get that wish, and they have lots of fun adventures together, and they both have a funny sense of humor. The unicorn really likes herself, and it's very prideful, and Phoebe is just kind of clueless, and it's really funny. You have to check that out. And one more new series that we have is Samantha Spinner and the Super Secret Plans. And I started reading it, and it's very interesting. Her uncle, her very eccentric uncle, goes missing, and he leaves 3 presents for her and her siblings. And her siblings' presents seem very good, like large amount of money and stuff like that, and all she gets is a old rusty umbrella. But it comes with a mysterious note, and she knows her uncle well enough to know that he's sending her a message, and she has to figure out the mystery. So, Samantha Spinner and the Super Secret Plans. That's a new series to check out also. Hope something here interests you, and you can come in and ask us about it, and we'll help you find one of these or something else that would interest you.